The great meta shift in Yu-Gi-Oh! Was coming. Let's talk about it.
But before that, go over to headtoheadbattles.com for all your TCG accessory needs. We offer you the highest quality protection for your cards while giving you something to keep in your collection forever. Links are in the description box down below.
What's going on, guys? My name is Susu from Head to Head Battles, and in today's episode, we're going to talk about the brand new OCG ban list, YCS Niagara, and what this all means for our upcoming TCG ban list. Now, I've been wanting to have one of these segments a week where we can have a real deep dive conversation about the meta. So if you guys like content like this, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment, hit that notification bell down below, and let's have a conversation down in the comment section. All right, so the first thing we need to talk about is this incredibly large ban list that the OCG just released and what the TCG can learn from it. Now, on the forbidden list, we have Griffin Rider and Union Carrier. Now, the Brave Engine has had a lot of different hits in the OCG, but that's strictly because they aren't as money driven as we are. Now, I realistically don't think that the Brave Engine is getting hit in the TCG because Konami still needs to sell products still sitting on the shelves, so. Now, as for Union Carrier, here in the TCG, it's been banned for quite a while, and I was genuinely surprised that it lasted that long over in the OCG, but it's definitely a card that can enable a lot of combos and get cards out of the deck when you need them, right? Now, for the limited list, this is where things get really spicy. First on the list is Swap Frog, and this card is a serious powerhouse in the Sprite deck, okay? Being able to normal summon and special summon this card while being able to recur itself with the effect of Totally Awesome, this card was way too easy to access, was a starter and an extender, okay? Next, we have Sprite Jet. Now, I think this was the better hit overall in conjunction with the limiting of Sprite Starter. Being able to see multiple one-card combos that can chew through hand traps feels really bad if your hand is subpar, okay? Sprites is one of the few decks that can build an entire board with only one card, so seeing less of those cards is definitely the better way to go without completely killing the deck, and I really hope the TCG ban list does something similar. Next, on the limited list, we have some Ishizu cards that we do not have in the TCG yet, so we aren't even going to talk about them, all right? They won't limit the cards that we don't have yet, and they're going to be staying for a long time, so Konami can sell some more products, all right? The next card that they limited was the Tearlament Field Spell. Now, most of the hits on the list were mainly aimed at sprites and Tearlaments, which is interesting because they are the newest archetype, so it goes to show just how powerful they were out of the gate, and it's definitely something we are feeling here in the TCG as well. Another really interesting card on the limited list is going to be Floowandereeze and the Magnificent Map. Now, in the TCG, they haven't hit Flu in any way, shape, or form, but I think that might change in the upcoming ban list as well. We recently put out a ban list prediction video talking about some of the cards that could see a hit. And now, I'll have that video in the description box down below, so go watch it. And finally, some of the less interesting cards on the limited list are going to be Hair of the Orange Light, Yatagarasu, and Time Seal. Now, onto the semi-limited list. The first card on that list is going to be ABC Dragon Buster, which I think can come back to 3 in the OCG, as we already have it unlimited in the TCG, and it really isn't doing anything to begin with, all right? So the next card we have is Double Iris Magician, which again, I feel like was an afterthought because realistically, they haven't done anything special in the meta either, whether it be the OCG or the TCG. Next, we have a really interesting hit, which is Dimension Shifter. Now, this card has been making waves in the TCG as well, and it's one of the most powerful hand traps in the game currently. Now, realistically, I honestly don't think it's going to get hit or even needs a hit because one, Shifter is really format dependent for it to really shine, right? In some formats, it might only slow down the meta, but with the popular rise of Tearlaments, the card became pretty much an FTK against most of the meta right now. Next on the list, we have Tearlament Havnis, which in my opinion doesn't really have much meta impact due to the fact that one, it's searchable, and two, you still have a pretty large tier package that you can work with in the deck already, okay? Next, we have Water Enchantress and Torn Scales to 2. Both of these cards, again, I really don't think will change the meta at all, but again, that's all going to be hindsight while we watch the meta unfold in real time. And finally, the last card in the semi-limited list is going to be Lightning Storm. Realistically, I would be very, very surprised if the TCG decided to take this route and hit cards that are board breakers since our meta is very combo heavy. I think we need all the board breakers we can get and then some. Now, onto the unlimited section. The first card on that list is Widow Anchor, which we've had at 3 in the TCG for a while now. And the fact that the OCG loves slower gameplay and are more control oriented, I think there will be a huge surge in striker players moving forward. Next, we have Danger Jackalope, which I don't think we will ever get to 3 again in the TCG, because as it stands, Danger Tearlaments is insane, and Jackalope to 3 would make it even better. Next, we have Spiral Resort and Magical Meltdown, both really good cards to come back. We should be seeing a huge meta shift in the OCG moving forward with all the new cards coming off the list. The next thing that we need to talk about is YCS Niagara, which just ended yesterday. Believe it or not, the deck to win it all was Exo Sisters, and his list was playing Mystic Mine, Necro Valley, and of course, Dimension Shifter as well. Now, the way the TCG likes to formulate its ban list is with the information gathered at all the events leading up to said ban list, right? We've seen many different techs, decks, and strategies winning and topping events, so we can assume that the TCG ban list will be just as big or even bigger than our OCG counterpart. Now, if we look at the breakdown of the top 8 decks at Niagara, we can see that it was pretty much 6 tier limit variants, 1 sprite, and the winning deck, which was Exo Sisters. Now, if you take a closer look at all the top 8 decks, only 2 of those decks were maining Mystic Mine, which means that it wasn't as prevalent as people thought it would be. Now, realistically speaking, the only reason Exo Sisters really even had a chance was the fact that the entire deck is made to stop graveyard effects and to banish cards off the field and graveyard. Now, if you're playing a deck that is heavily reliant on resolving effects in the graveyard, and I have a card that can basically Dweller you probably aren't winning that game. Right now, with cards like Shifter, Necro Valley, and Mystic Mine, your chances of winning get even slimmer with a deck that is heavily focused on using the graveyard as a way to garner more resources. All of this still doesn't change the fact that Mystic Mine was a card heavily played at other events, but it goes to show you that proper deck building and a good understanding of the current meta will help you win as long as you know your deck well and your opponent's deck even better. Moving forward, I honestly don't think we're going to be seeing too many generic cards landing on the ban list, but I do think we will see some consistency hits to the decks that are currently flooding the top 75% of deck representations, right? You have to understand that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is basically a popularity contest when it comes to decks being played at top events, right? Although there are decks that are just inherently better, I think Exo Sisters winning the YCS, again, shows that proper deck building and understanding the meta goes a long way as well. But let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts on this, and if it's any different than what I'm saying now. All right, guys, so hopefully today's conversation gets you thinking a little bit more about the current state of the game, as well as your ideas on the ban list, or rather what the ban list should address, right? So I know this new style of video is something that we haven't done much on the channel, but it's genuinely interesting to do the research and see where the game is going to go. If you guys enjoyed this type of video, let me know by subscribing to the channel, liking this video, and letting me know in the comment section what other topics you want to discuss, as well as what type of coverage you want, and hopefully we can do more of these type of videos in the future. But all right, guys, that does it for today. I've taken up way too much of your time already. My name is Susu from Head to Head Battles, signing out.
What's up, guys? If you haven't subscribed, make sure to click that button right there in the middle.
Also, if you haven't watched that video that YouTube is recommending you, it's probably crazy, all right? Go watch it. This is Susu from Head to Head Battles,
Head to Head Battles,
signing out.